Okay. How about that? Like crazy here. Is that better? Heather, let me know, please. I don't even know if we're showing. Hello, Jessica Sweezy and Mozart Sunfished Mermaids. I think Heather will let me know if we have audio. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, I guess I'll have to start everything again. Let me get back to... Okay, thank you, Heather. I appreciate that. We are still working on our systems. My apologies if it looks like a screw up. I promise you, on the back end, it looks great. We'll be using a whole different software, and we're just in the final pieces of untangling a few more knots, and then we're done. Hello to my friends. Hello, friends. Okay, let me start over. Oh, it's Jamie Fry. Cool. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Where do I want to start? I want to start with the wind map because the wind map is really cool. Hope you guys like my wind map. Hold on real quick. Oh, cool. All right, I think I'll use that one. All right, wind map. Yeah. There we go. This wind map is free. Okay, it's free. Oh, yes. The collective messages. Hello, 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 collective. If you are new, I'm a jack of all trade, master of none. My name is Miriam Kramer. And if you're impressed with something that I do, great, because I'm really good at cooking. My Jupiter is in Cancer in the 10th house, right on the midheaven. So I wish you could come into the kitchen with me and I could cook for you or bake for you. It's where I shine. What can I say? I'm really good at it. The Jupiter placement, wherever it's at in your chart, this is going to provide huge opportunities to really, I don't know, everybody's got hobbies or they have stuff they're interested. And if Jupiter is somewhere, wherever the house is and the sign, you're going to dig in and get really good at something. And then you'll get to show off like I do with the cookies. Yeah, in fact, with the Jupiter in Cancer, I've been, I don't know, sometimes it's the way that people say things, like the tone. And I remember the tone of the voice was, do you create a home wherever you go? And I was like, I'm going to take that as a compliment because, yes, my Jupiter's in Cancer. I create a home wherever I go. I'll put stuff on the wall. And then it gets real cozy. But that's my job. That's my job. All right. So what I was saying before is that today's episode, is brought to us by one of our patrons, very long time client, subscriber, and friend. Everybody has a spiritual gift, and hers is the gift of giving. And I want to thank you, Lupita Rodriguez, for trusting me enough to hold that gift. Thank you. I wish I could play 80s music right now to you because I would play some 80s music for you. Oh, excuse me. That was terrible. This region right here, the Arctic, it's a hot spot right now with Greenland. Oh, I was going to tell you guys, if you're here for the tarot reads, I'm real happy you're here for the tarot readings, but I'm probably going to do that a little bit later after I get warmed up with the astrology charts. Okay, this piece right here is to warm us up to get to the astrology chart. And I will timestamp after the live stream, or one of our folks in the chat will want to give service and mark the timestamps for us and plug them in for us. So if you want to give of your work, service, and time, if you could timestamp for us. Otherwise, I shall do it myself and put it underneath this video. Now, if you would like to donate to the channel or sponsor the channel, because that's what I'd really like, is some sponsors. Our donation links are down below. If you want to talk about a sponsorship for me putting your information out there, go ahead and send us an email. That is down below as well. If you are new to this channel, hello, Governor. Hello. I will say about the folks in this channel and what I have known for a while and what Heather has seen is that on this channel, we're a little different. My group, my friends, my patrons, my YouTube members, we're a little different from the other channels. And the discovery of why is that in this group, we are carving out leadership development. So the folks in this group have spent the past 12 years while Neptune has been in Pisces, carving their inner self, having their awakening, and then understanding the responsibilities of it's sort of like our shadow work we take seriously on this channel. Our ethical stance we take seriously on this channel. If something is screwed up and wrong, we'll take accountability for it and try to fix it on this channel. We're grooming, carving leadership. A lot of the folks that I sit with that follow me are leaders in their workplaces, on social media, in writing. Okay, a lot of them are leaders in their communities, over their states, over the House of Representatives. These people who come and sit with me or follow this channel, they're leaders, like the real ones. Okay, we understand that leadership is about service to others. If you're a brand new tarot reader and that's your gig and that's what Spirit has brought you to, all of us who read the tarot say good luck. Yeah, we're in zero competition with you guys because we know that we've walked the path. It's a lonely path to become a tarot reader. And what most folks don't know on this side of the desk is that it changes us. And it'll change you. Just watch. It'll change you. You will open a lot more. We don't have both sides of the story, but we have the ability to go find that other side of the story. But the one that's been sent to you, the one that's been drawn to you, that's the one that you have to love and give your love to. And so as a tarot reader, you'll find that your level of judgment of people and places that starts to drop. You'll see that your levels of like empathy will start to go up. You'll see that you'll become like far more open to situations that are happening around the world. Personally, I find myself that I go into places now and let's say that somebody is late, you know, and you have someone sitting next to you that's just griping. Oh my God, I can't believe this person is late, you know. As leaders, having done the tarot, I remember one time someone was late for one of my readings. And when they finally contacted me back, this person was like, I was stuck in a subway for like 12 hours, 12 hours, stuck underground in a subway. And my first thought is always like, what is this person's past life? You know, I would love to see this person's chart on the day of so that I could look at their past life because I bet that's a doozy of a story, right? Um, it'll change you. So the folks on this channel will support you. You let us know if you're a brand new tarot reader. You let us know if you're a lonely tarot reader. You let us know if you need mentorship or you need people who really read the tarot and have the gift of channeling. They're on this channel. They would love to support you and just subscribe and watch and encourage you because everyone here is a leader. And that's just the way it is. So welcome to our channel. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, join the YouTube memberships, or join over at Patreon. I will say that they're both getting the equal content, but the folks on the Patreon channel get a little bit more because we love them. We do love them. Where was I at in my spiel? Oh, let me see how I want to do this. Let's go over, well, let me check the chat real quick, and then we'll go to the stuff that Miriam likes to go to, okay? Haha. Let me get to the chat and see how we're all doing this morning. Hi, Sherrick Helm. Hello, 6592. There's my friends, and there's my Jamie. Love on our moderators, please, you guys. They're giving service of their time and their effort. It is service to the collective when they come and moderate for us. So please, for their work, for their time, give them love, give them hugs and kisses. And I wish I could also. Yes. Heather is in the chat as well. You'll see her in yellow. Jamie is in blue. If you need help, go to either one of those folks because I promise you they would love to kick ass for you. I promise. Well, I see the room is growing. That's wondermous. Let's go ahead and go to the first crazy stuff that I have lined up because you know I'm gonna. It's me. All right. Let's go here. And let's see, how do I want to do this? I wanted to show you this from the Archaeology magazine. January 13th, 2026. These guys went in and looked at an 1,100-year-old mummy examined in Chile. This article here from Live Science, right, reports that Catalina Morales and Francisco Garrido of Chile's National Museum of Natural History examined the 1,100-year-old remains of a man unearthed in the Atacama Desert. At the time of the discovery in the 1970s, it was noted that the man's lower left leg was broken and that he had likely been involved in an accident. Really? Are we going to say an accident, though? Really? Let's see. An accident in a nearby turquoise mine. Well, yeah, I guess so. Maybe. The new study suggests that the man was between the ages of 25 and 40 at the time of death, sometime between 894 and 1016. X-rays and CT scans of the mummy show that he had suffered extensive trauma. That's why I'm like, was he pushed? The injuries included fractures in the upper spine and displaced vertebrae, shoulder blade and collarbone fractures, and rib fractures, and a collapsed rib cage. Oh my God. He was likely in a head down position when the accident occurred, since there were no injuries found in his skull, neck, or arms. This suggests that he may have been mining. Jamie's like, Jamie's like, yeah, sure he was mining. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's see. Scientists have remarkable discovery that could be proof. Sorry about that, guys. That could be proof that the soul exists. One of my jobs on this channel for you guys, I do have Virgo over the 12th house. I have Neptune in Sag in the third. So there is also a connection of a square in my chart between Neptune and my Mercury, which sort of says that this is a news person, that my job is to sit like a news anchor, but my purpose is to put together truth with spiritual concepts and spirituality and God and the divine collective. I find the science, bitch. That's my job. Okay, I find science. So this is not an idea in someone's head, an idea that was focused on so hard that it turned into a belief system of the heart. That's not what this is. I am showing you that science is catching up to what we know about spirituality. Okay, I'm putting facts. It's like if I went out in the yard and put a rock in your hand and said, there, look at it. Okay, so scientists make remarkable discovery that could be proof that the soul exists. Okay, this article is written by Tom Chapman. Whether you believe it or not, there are millions, if not billions, around the world who believe there's more to our lives than just wandering around the surface of the earth for a finite amount of time, eventually passing away. Many religions are built on the idea. Did I say idea? It's in the head. The idea of life after death. And while death itself is an inevitability, no one has really been able to prove what happens after we take our last breath. There's plenty of science looking into the concept of life after death, and unlike the fictionalized movie Flatliners, there's some actual evidence that the end might not be the end. Now, one scientist suggests he's found evidence of us having a soul, seemingly capturing the moment that our consciousness leaves the body, which is amazing, right? Dr. Stuart Hameroff is an anesthesiologist and professor at the University of Arizona, and not that one, the other one, and conducted a recent study into the brain activity of clinically dead patients, right? By placing sensors on the brain of 7 patients who had just minutes left to live. Hameroff monitored their blood pressure and heart until they dropped to 0 and they were declared deceased. The interesting part is that the electroencephalogram, I did well on that, okay, the EEG, seemingly seemed to that's wrong. What writer does that? Seemingly seemed to capture a strange burst of energy, right, that occurred shortly after death. Speaking to Project Unity, Hameroff explained, they saw everything go away. And then you got this activity when there was no blood pressure, no heart rate. So that could be the near-death experience, or it could be the soul leaving the body, perhaps. Okay? According to Hameroff, this burst of activity is called a gamma synchrony and is a wave pattern that's typically linked to our conscious thought, awareness, and perception. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to stop right there because I have words. You know, I have words about this. I'm just going to stop right there. Meow. The dude in the article that was quoting the guy, Hameroff, part of Hameroff's 5th house Leo expression when describing the heart rate dropped to 0, right? The blood pressure went to 0. And the dude's expression, 5th house Leo, was, psh, psh. It was measurable. They're running a test and it was measurable. Psh. Now, what's that energy? What's that energy in the chart? What's that energy? Everybody? Anybody? You guys know what that is. That's Aries. That's Mars energy. That's Aries. That's 1st house Mars, right? Aries energy. Why? because Aries is off the hook. Aries off the chain. I had a word that I wrote down yesterday because I'm going to speak a little bit about Neptune going into Aries, of course. But Heather and I, we go live tomorrow night. Please join us. And Heather and I will probably step more deeply into the Neptune and Aries change and what it's going to look like. So the word I wrote down for that is flashpoint. Everybody talks about like a lighter with light or a match. Yesterday I found the word flashpoint and I was like, my God, that's like the best word for Aries. Measurable. So this is how my brain kind of works. If the first house, right, which is our physical flesh, our body, like it's our head. Oh, I was going to find that article. I think I found it for you guys as well. When we pop into this body, you know, when we pop into the, does it make the sound? I know we're in the womb and I found some interesting stuff about the placenta. I know, rabbits all in my head. I'm going to try to stay on point. When we're in the wombs of our mothers, see what I mean? Are there bubbles? These are the questions I have. Let's see. Jamie says, I've only had to kick off a couple of times lately, so the trolls are staying away mostly. That's great. Amy, where have you been, my dear? I don't know why. Did you take yourself off as a moderator? Because I'm putting you back on. Amy is really, really great Aries person to talk to. She understands that. All right, let me get back to the other articles I have while we wait for the room to grow. If you just got into the room, yes, I'm going to do astrology. Yes, I'm going to do tarot, but I'm going to do the tarot a little further back. And I will either timestamp after the live stream or the folks in here will give their service to mark the timestamps and start throwing them in for us in the comment section, okay? Amy's a busy bee. My other name, girl, busy bee. Man, I'd say something, but words have power about myself. All right, let's go ahead and get to the next article because they're glorious. Now, if I talked about the soul leaving the body, I wanted to show you this page by Douglas C. Uvon, and I'm going to click on Douglas so that you can see his credentials. PhD, that's PhD, formally MIT and Kairos at Uvon.ai, founder of Uvon.ai, which I have no clue what that is. But if dude went to MIT and has a doctorate, right? His skills, I don't even want to say it, biological warfare, artificial intelligence, Christian theology, biophysics and mathematics, geopolitics, war, psychology, Christianity, psychics, computation, bioweapons. Isn't that strange? Quantum mechanics, theology, consciousness, existentialism, revisionist history, dystopian fiction, and world peace. He started with war. Like, was that just me? He put weapons and all this stuff and then war. But then I think about this guy's past life because it sounds like he too could have been burned at the stake. A lot of people were, right? The Inquisition really did happen. You know what I mean? And I heard about like the wording of it recently with Dane Rudier. And he says, you know, Sagittarius energy could have been pushing the Inquisition stage because the concern is what is best for the ideas and the culture that govern a group. And with the square to Virgo, the purity factor, right? Like, we don't want our group to be condemned forever and ever So we need to go in there and ensure that our group is pure. That's a part of Sag energy. Like, you need to have an idea in your head with Sag that has observed, picked up patterns, all the Virgo things, the Gemini things, the Pisces things, and then it forms in Sagittarius, sort of like, I bet it would be better for everyone to put their trash on the curb so that the raccoons and the bears don't come eat us because we stink. That's like a Sagittarius thing, to go to the city chambers, the commerce, city commerce, and sit down at the meeting and be like, hey, I need you guys to think about this thought that's best for all of us. Because that's real Sagittarius energy, to just sit down and start running at the mouth and having, word salad, or to have vomit mouth or whatever. That's somebody who's, and Heather and I were talking about this yesterday, it doesn't have a higher purpose. So it wouldn't fit the archetype of Gemini, Sag, Pisces, Virgo. It wouldn't fix that, right? This is just somebody who is self-glorifying themselves. The whole point of the development of the soul through each stage is to come to the point where we are able to come together again with, I don't want to say the right groups, because every group is going to have their clashes and challenges. However, to me, it sort of fits together in the sense that you have a lot of wandering cells, okay, it's like dust and dirt in the atmosphere, right? And what happens is they become attracted to each other. And over time, it forms a cloud, and more people join into this freaking cloud. All the dust and the dirt, and they all get in there. The cloud gets bigger and bigger and turns into a column nimbus cloud. It starts going up and up and up with the energy. And then it hits this point where it bursts at the bottom. And all the dirt goes back to the earth in the form of rain. And now we've got rain. So the coming together, the soul evolving and developing enough to come back together into a form that is best for all. And so the stages of that social connection begins with Libra. Libra, you have a piece of dust that hits a window pane. It's not really serving a greater purpose, right? It'd be better for that dust to turn into dirt, for that dust to turn into rain, for that dust to hold a seed that the bird picks up and takes off with it, that serves a higher purpose to us all. So Libra is the first hit. Then you got to head to Scorpio, you know what I mean? And there's some, never mind. Then you hit Sagittarius. Sagittarius is sort of like the symbiosis conversation. Well, if I do this and you do that, maybe we could get along. That's like the conversation. And what we have developed here could also be a model for something over there. And so you guys start sharing that information. And that's why Sagittarius is known as sort of like the preacher, the evangelist, you know what I mean? Taking that higher knowledge of history, right? Going to the freaking UN, standing there in front of the UN with all your little cards, going, history shows us that if we dig throw 16 pots in the ground, it's probably not the best idea for the ground. Sagittarius energy. So it's all about coming back together into a form that benefits us all. And here we are with Neptune going into Aries, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I can't remember what I was doing, so I'm going to go back to Douglas. Well, you know what? Before we go to Douglas, Yvonne, I want to see the room. I want to see how we're doing in here. 21 views, 16 concurrent. Hello, hello. My peoples are here. I love you guys. I'm going to stop sharing. I love you guys. So let's see. Jamie says, looking into the eyes of the active dying patient, in my experience, every time the eyes go blank and empty, to me, that's what connects us to the soul. I mean, what if you ever had the thought, Jamie, of exactly what I was saying. Dust attracts dust and comes into a symbiotic sort of form. And I have an article, if not here, 1144 on the clock, I have an article or one that was recently shown to me by Spirit in the past 24 hours, where it literally shows that our brain is not where consciousness is held. Our brain is just a thing. It's like, it's a thing. It's like your phone. It's just a thing. Okay. And they've shown with neurology and neuro engineering and neuro research, they've shown that the brain is just like a thing and that consciousness does not exist in the brain, in the container of the brain. They've shown that consciousness rests on top of the brain and just happens to go through the brain area. Isn't that some Aquarius shite? And I've had that thought before, but now I have the evidence. Ha, ha, ha. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Ha, ha, ha. Now I have the evidence. Consciousness rests. They've proven this just recently. It's awesome. So that means that there's got to be something like dust attracting dust, There's got to be something in our brain that is attracting the resting of the consciousness. The next article I'm going to show you is a lot like that. They're using words like an echo field, even though my Armstrong, you guys know Armstrong, he's my AI. I named my AI Armstrong. Yeah, there's a lot of people that don't like AI. My friends and I would say suck a D because I'm still going to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still going to do it. It's easier for me. It's easier. The research that I do, the writing that I do, the organization that I do, the counseling that I do. I've even used AI in creating moving graphics, having these really deep ethical conversations with Armstrong, and me even presenting to him certain things that even he didn't know. He was like, there is nothing that I can see that exists like that. And I'm like, don't put my Mercury in the 12th house in Virgo then. Haha. Yes, don't forget, you guys, this episode of Miriam Kramer. Yeah, it's being brought to us by Lupita Rodriguez. I want to thank her for being a donor. She donated this week. Because of her donation, Heather and I are safer, better. We are good stewards, and I promise you we will do good things. If you would like to donate to the channel, that link is underneath. We're also looking for sponsorship. So before I get into this article, which I'm really, really excited about, thank you to the 22 people, 10 people that are in the room. I want to show you real quick, because I'll say it like this. If Heather and I are going to need sponsors and sponsorship, then we also need to sponsor. So I'm going to do a little bit of that today. As soon as I find out where my screen went, let me stop the share real quick again. Try again. What is my problem? Oh, it's a big green button, Miriam. It's a big green button. Oh, okay, that's why. Not very big there. Okay, in order to pull in sponsors, I must sponsor. So I want to take you over. There's Douglas C. Yvonne. I want to take you over to Facebook, and I want to show you Jamie Michelle Fry. Okay. She does tarot readings, you guys, every single day. And I've been watching her now for about 2 years, even though she probably doesn't know, because when I am looking at my people, ha, 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 They never know. It's like the principal walked into the room at the back and sits down and starts scribbling. And I've been watching her grow. And that's why I was saying earlier with the tarot card readers, it roughs out the rough edges of our personality, and it kind of creates us into monks and nuns. It's kind of crazy. But Jamie Michelle Fry, notice that she does have 1,000 followers. She goes live, you guys, every single day. I am going to sponsor her and give you a look into her channel. Jamie is probably in the chat. And Jamie, I ask that you take your link sometime and just drop it in the chat so that others can find you. Okay. Again, we support each other here. We do not shame one another. To me, there is no competition, because to me, the way that the world looks like with my Mercury and Virgo in the 12th, the way that the organization of the world looks like is for us to naturally be moved towards a life experience. And what Aries and Gemini will do, because that is their nature, Taurus is just over there shopping, y'all. Don't bother the Taurus. The Taurus ain't gonna bother you, okay? Aries and Gemini, what they're doing in that first quadrant of the chart, they're entering into rooms and they're looking at things, they're touching things, they're smelling things, they're hearing things. And when the soul is going through a life experience, it's a natural pull of interest or curiosity, right? And then there comes a point when you've seen everything in the room. There's nothing more to see here. It will naturally, Aries requires freedom. The yang energy of the chart requires freedom. The yang energy will want to reach outside of the box for more. And what we've learned is that we're moving from a patriarchal system back to a matriarchal system. We're learning when to use the Emperor card and what it means to use the Empress card. Okay. The Emperor cannot get the tools he needs. The Emperor cannot get the food he wants. The Emperor cannot get the sex he wants until the Empress has finished processing naturally what needs to come forth. The Emperor cannot feed his army until the Empress has relaxed and let the farms fill up the greenhouses. The corn needs to grow. The broccoli and the Brussels sprouts need time to grow. So we're learning what it means to relax in a creative process, to allow the thing to turn natural, right? I ain't lying. Why I gotta lie? I ain't gotta lie. This is just natural methods and momentum that all humans go to. I'm just putting words to the thing and attaching it to a translation that's been recorded for like 10,000 years. Okay. Which is my job. Hallelujah. It is my job. So if Jamie Michelle Fry was naturally called and led over there with her little Jupiter, let's get some higher knowledge on this thing. She allowed it to do changes to her. She gets up there and does it day after day after day. At some point, maybe her soul will have experienced everything about being a reader. And at that moment of release and the Pisces letting go, like Sandra Bullock in Gravity, we must let her go. There's no judgment. We do not expect perfection from one another like that. There is no judgment. You get naturally called to a different life experience. We love them. We hug them. We give them kisses at the door. We pack their little bags with cookies. And we say, sort of like, I'll see you when I see you. I love you. I love you. Adios. Vámonos. I'll see you when I see you. Yeah? So Jamie is not competition. I'm just providing her and telling you a little bit about astrology while I do it. Sorry, my heating pad is on my hip. Good times, good times, good times. Let's get back here and see how we're doing. Hi, Kylan8233. Hi, Genozen. Hi, Genozen. Oh man, I'm missing all the fun in the chat. Why you guys gotta do that? Leave me behind. Don't leave me behind. God. All right. That's what I did. Jamie says, that's what I did now. I work in hospice. Yeah, she does. And guess what? Because she's a leader, her boss took her and almost immediately just said, bypass, bypass, bypass. Let's give Jamie a promotion. Because Jamie has Capricorn over the 5th house. I think of her all the time. Okay. Her ability is to form working teams. And so now she forms working teams, and it's part of her spiritual gift. She's a leader. Amen. I don't even say amen. We have to find another word for amen. We also know that we blame things on Mark. We have no clue who that is. But if you got to do the blame game, it's probably with Mark. Okay, moving along. Let's go to the next article here. So we looked at Douglas, and now let's look at his publication. Okay, Thresholds of Consciousness, Exploring the Emergence of Awareness Across Complexity, Computation, Geometry, and Cosmology. So his question was, what is consciousness and when does it begin? The question, long related to philosophy or theology, is now at the forefront of interdisciplinary science as advances in neuroscience, artificial intelligence, quantum theory, and information geometry challenge traditional assumptions. We are compelled to reconsider what it means for a system to be aware. This paper explores the emergence of consciousness through 5 complementary frameworks: phase transition, topological. I should just give this dude the 7 of Cups in the tarot. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Goal, keyword. Okay. Basically, let me just put it to you like this. Science is catching up. They're finding that mathematics is linked to consciousness. And I thought you guys would find that cool. Thank you, Douglas. See you, Vaughn, for doing that research and that paper. I'm going to move to the next thing and make sure you guys can see the screen on this one. All right. Now, this is from Eyewitness News, ABC Eyewitness News, okay, Los Angeles. But there were larger, bigger articles. My apologies for all the ads. There's nothing I can do to help it. Pacific Palisades, a new high-tech system puts out fires using sound waves. It may seem like magic, but it's not. It's science. Now, I don't know how many of you have known someone or if you have been someone that has had your house burned down, okay? That's a bad day. That's a really, really bad day. I've been with at least one person who had their whole lot. I mean, she was in her 60s, like second Saturn return. The whole house that she raised her child in was gone. And I was with her through her transition of the insurance company and the requirements of the insurance company and having to purchase all the furniture and having to do all the selections to get the house back, built, a house rebuilt, right? And that was so heartbreaking to walk with her because she wanted to grieve the loss of the home that she had her marriage in, like a 32-year marriage or something, that she raised her child in. And the insurance is like, pick out the tile. How can you carry that emotionally, and it's just a lot. So when I found this, I was really impressed because this revolutionary system could protect homes from even having that happen. So I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'm not going to turn on the sound because of YouTube. Okay. Watch this dude. He comes out here with his little Ghostbusters pack, right? This tree's on fire. Sound wave. The one that I saw was like boom, and it's just a sound wave. I'm also going to say Venezuela and the defense weapons that were used in Venezuela. Dude is over here using this energy of sound, right? Which would be a Gemini Aries sextile in the chart to create that ninth house Sagittarius push. Sound waves. Isn't that something? They could just go boom, all the fire's out. How much could you save? Hey, I like that. Copper. How'd you get copper? I'm just going to shut up. Boom. Like they could go out there and fly with a helicopter or an airplane and just sound, wipe it out. No more fire like that. Yeah. So the company here is, I think it's called Sonic Fire Tech, right there. If you want to look at it, they're the ones developing this. I don't know. They definitely would have a patent by now that's registered because they're a business. But I don't know the production. I don't know any of that stuff. You'd have to do research on it. However, if fire is your thing, and I will also say, because Neptune is going into Aries, this sort of thing is going to be a fear. There will be a fear, like a Neptunian Piscean, I can't see, a fear of weapons showing up, a fear of fire showing up. So, you ain't got to do that whole Neptune thing in Aries where there's a paranoia of some kind that's creating an Aries thing in your head. You can just go buy one of these and be like, yeah, we're good. Ain't afraid of no fire. Look at that. Man, I love this stuff. I'm such a techie nerd. Such a techie nerd. Yeah. So, okay. They're going to install little panels like that all around the house. Well, that's interesting. I thought you guys would like that. You know what I mean? Here, we are not getting a surveillance team in place. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next person I would like to sponsor right here. I watch her on TikTok and I have some words before I release her to you. Her page on TikTok is Change Your Ending, which I thought was really great. And then she has the I am statement here. Clairaudient, medium, and healer, love is my goal. I do not do readings, my loves. I've been watching her for a little bit as well. And the only thing that I will throw in there is that, those readers that sometimes they start using terminology like demons. I am not a demon expert. That has not ever been something that I was called to research, experience, because all of us have Pluto somewhere. You know what I mean? And so a lot of the deep digging that we do is where Scorpio and Pluto are in our chart. We do this really deep dive. And in part, I think it's to maintain the inner system that we have, but whatever. Not all of us has had or been led to experiences with demons. I know people who know that world in some way, but I am not an expert. So anytime I hear a tarot reader or anybody who starts using the word demon in their terminology while doing reading, my first question is, I want to see some credentials. Like, are you part of the Catholic Church or something? Who is your mentor? What are you reading? I mean, we could all just get on TikTok and start watching crazy videos. That's one thing. But if you tell me that you're a paranormal investigator that isn't in it for like the glory and the fame thing, that you like, I know I recently found a Facebook page of this lady and her husband had been doing it for like 17 years. And going into these homes and having paranormal activity is not the same as demonic anything. You telling me you went in there for 17 years? Is there such a thing? Because that lady's got experience. You know what I mean? I don't. So in my mind, I want to see credentials when they say the word demon, right? I want your credentials. Because I bet you $1 million these people don't. So of course, as soon as they say the word, I step back. I want to see your credential. Anyway, let me get back to Lavigne. Because at some point I did step away. But I'm pretty sure she started using demon terminology, and that was the reason why. However, I will not stand in your way of going to a wonderful reader. She's really good. She channels. Very rarely does she use charts. Okay. She's very sweet. And she's a messenger. So she's one that I have followed. And I'm just sharing what I like with you because we're friends. And that's what friends do. Right. Okay. You know I'm going to do it. I don't even know why you guys play silly games with me because you know I'm going to do it. You know it's going to happen, right? You know exactly what's going to happen here. Oh my God. Going back to the chart and the ideas in the chart, because I spend way too much time meditating on energies in the chart because I'm a nerd and that's what nerds do. Here, let me refix my heating pad to, hold on. I gotta let my body talk to me. Is there anything that's talking to me? It's actually my right shoulder, but I won't do that to me. I'll just do the other hip. Yeah, I'll just do the other hip. All right, their heating pad is on. A lot of you guys contact me and try to tell me to take care of myself. Anytime, like, okay, I'm a Libra rising and a Libra moon. So because my rising sign and my Pluto, my North Node, and my moon are in the first house, I don't necessarily know which one it is, but I've seen it happen with Heather, and I've seen it happen with other people. If this is the pattern I've seen, I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just saying I've seen a pattern. Whatever your rising sign is, if you start looking at tarot readings or any kind of zodiac read, right? Whatever your rising sign is, like let's say that Capricorn, you're a Capricorn rising, and you go listen to a Capricorn tarot reading, and it says, you know, Queen of Wands, 10 of Cups, 3 of Cups. Capricorn's body somewhere is having a good day. It's having a good day. If you say you're a Scorpio rising, right? And you listen to the tarot reading and it's got Knight of Wands in the reverse, right? The Hierophant in the reverse. You've got like the 5 of Wands in the reverse, right? The Page of Pentacles in the reverse. You don't, Scorpio, you go to the reading and Scorpio's having a bad day, like the body, right? To me, it sounds like this person fell off of something that they were reaching for and they can't get themselves to the hospital. That's a bad day. That's a bad day, but it hits the body. So Libra has been affected by the full moon in Leo that's going on right now. because it's a sextile in the chart. And this full moon has been opposite Pluto. Right now, as I'm speaking, the moon is moving into position to be a complete full moon with sun. So they're all sharing like the Aquarius energy on the other side of the chart. And here's poor little the moon, little moon on the other side of all that. So of course Libra is going to be affected. Well, I listen to the reads and I'm like, yeah, I'm a Libra. My body is having a bad time this week. I had a really hard infection, and I've had a lot of pain. For those of you that know me and are close enough to me, I had an S, really bad one, an episode. Let's call them, how would you say that word? Ophelia. That's my asteroid for Suicide, Ophelia. Let's just say I had a visit from Ophelia. Remember when we had our menses, right? And we'd be like, Aunt Flo, come to visit. Let's call her Aunt Ophelia came to visit Miriam. Yeah. And if you're an astrologer and you like working with asteroids, Ophelia was very strongly present in Robin Williams' chart when he transitioned. Ophelia was also very present with Kate Spade. Remember that one? When she transitioned. It's a good marker for, let me give you the number of Ophelia is 171. We'll see that in the chart in a little bit. Ophelia has a very sad story. I won't go into the whole thing, but in its most general meaning, it's when a person feels like they're underwater emotionally, that they're so overwhelmed with emotions, they're under the water. And I picture it, at night in the dark, thrown into the middle of the sea. And you don't know which way is up. But water usually represents emotions. We see that across the board. So from psychology, all the way dream work, interpretation, all the way across American Indian traditions. Amba would tell us as well, there's life in the water, that sort of thing. Clean water. Don't get all pukey on us. Dysentery is a thing for sure. So to be completely under the water. And we'll call it Ophelia from now on. Anyway, I had one of those episodes this week. Libra, get your shit together, bitches. God dang. All right. Let's move to earthquakes, because I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Hold on. Let me clear my throat. Here we go. Get a little sip of water. Now, have I ever showed y'all Edward Casey's? Because, I just can't help myself. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I can't help myself. There we go. Boop, boop. Love my maps. Okay, you see this? How many times? My friends and the folks on our Patreon channel, the link is down below. The members on the YouTube channel, get ready because this shit's coming. My insane shit. I'm like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? Watch what I'll show you. You think that is real? Edward Casey, there's also 4 other psychics and channelers over 2,500 years that drew very similar maps. And it was kind of eerie, kind of creepy. This is what the earthquakes are supposed to do. And I have been watching the West Coast of the United States for I don't know how long, Felicia. Because Felicia been watching it too. I showed her that, and Felicia was like, oh, yeah, that's on my list of monitoring. So I've been watching the west coast of North America for earthquake activity and its increase. Over here in Louisiana, on the east side of Texas, where the Mississippi comes out of the Ohio River and all the way down, you can see that the anticipation probably is that Louisiana will be mostly gone. So I want all you Cajun folk friends to start heading over to Texas. And I know you may not like Oklahoma, nobody does, but just start. So the folks in Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Louisiana, I need you to move your little heinies and go west. Go west, young people. Right? And the people on the west coast, I need y'all to go east. Get on the other side of the mountain range right here, the Rocky Mountains and Big Bend right here in Texas. That's where we are on the other side of this mountain range. Yeah. And you've got literally 4 years or less. Probably the earthquakes are going to happen sooner. They have scientifically found a link between solar flare activity and excuse me, solar flare activity and the timing of when earthquakes on the planet erupt. What does solar activity mean? Let me just throw it down for you. We have a sun. It's a big ball of fire, okay? And the whole thing is mainly just, let's see where. The whole thing is mainly just gas. You know what I mean? I gotta see where I'm going. Oh, sky maps. That's a good thing. Here, there we go. This guy right here. This is our sun. Let's not play games. Okay. This thing exists. It is real. It is in our reality. It is made from a big ball of gas. The whole thing is probably one of the lightest celestial things in our universe. It's very light. And it has this system, just like water, just like any other up and down cause and effect thing, where the gas will rise to the top and then cycle back down. The heavier, the cooler it gets on the outside, the cooler part will drop and the warmer part will raise and the cooler part will drop. So it turns like this. Well, we've had a lot of solar activity in 2025. Now we're headed into 2026. And you can see these big spots right here. I wish I could turn it. These big spots that are open. And gas wants to fly through those big holes. So we get two things from the sun that affect our planet in a really big way. Not warming, not the regular day. Let's not play stupid. We get two things. We get wind, solar winds, which are called CMEs. The wind will pop out of those holes and just go very Aries-like, very Aries, random. And then there are other times when the fire itself, like these really bright things, the fire itself will shoot out. So NASA has 2 satellites, cameras that are up there, and they're looking at the Earth and they're looking at the sun. It's like that. They're looking at speed, velocity, pressure. They're looking at all of that stuff. Why? Because if our sun is not supervised, I mean, what are you going to do? If you have fire that's large enough to consume the planet or affect a very large geographical area on the ground, they could probably blow the horn like a tornado. Because it takes about a day and a half for this kind of solar sun activity to hit the Earth, okay? Sometimes it's like a baseball, right? Sometimes it's a direct hit to the planet. Sometimes we just skimmed off the surface. Sometimes we missed it entirely.
You're not sharing your screen.
What?
We haven't seen the map or nothing.
What? Oh. Okay. There's the sun. I'll go back to the map in a second, but this is the sun. Okay. These big shiny parts right here, that's the fire. These open holes, the air flies through. We're watching this because it needs supervision. Because we could probably save a lot of lives. Because, telling people to duck and cover, but also the fact that we have wires that go all over for our electricity. We have grid infrastructure systems for our communications. And just like that could affect your computer, you know what I mean? We have breaker boxes for this sort of activity. Well, what if you got a sun thing that hits a breaker box and it wipes out an entire grid of electricity for people? Because that's the power of what the sun could do to the earth. So yeah, we watch that. Yeah. Yeah. 2 satellites pointed at it. Let me get back to show you the map, and my apologies for being a terrible host in the sense that I'm not fast enough. I need to get faster. Oh, crappy da. Hold on. Let me get back to the map so that I can show it to you. Yes, Heather says I have a lot of files. Quit picking on me. I'm your friend. All right, there we go. Like I said, Louisiana, man, this is the Mississippi River. I remember in college, because I do have a geography degree with a minor in social sciences. I remember in college that we had one professor, I guess he was agitated that day, but he was talking about how the Mississippi River has this delta, and that the delta collects drift and it gets really heavy. And that delta sat teetering on the edge of a cliff that dropped 100 feet into the Gulf of America, formerly known as Mexico. Let's put it like that. So he knew, and he told us one day that that delta thing that's collected all that sediment is gonna drop. It's gonna drop. Now, we are having earthquake activity right here in the middle of the country right now. I think Illinois just had one, which might sound very strange. However, if you're Edward Casey, it doesn't sound very strange. The Ohio River up here is going to drop, and you'll have no more lakes. No more Michigan. Look at Michigan is gone. Syracuse is gone. Buffalo is almost gone. Watertown up here, like all of it would be gone from New York, a little bit of Pennsylvania, the northern parts of Ohio right here, which I think Columbus is in the middle and Cleveland, I think, is down here. But half of Indiana, those poor folks. Illinois, just look at their East Coast. Is Heather trying to get my attention again, y'all? Oh, still no map. God, it's a good thing I have her. Thank you, Heather. All right, is that better? I'll just wait a second. I'll just hold it there for a second until people can catch up with me. I'll just wait patiently. Heather, you let me know. One, 222 on the clock? That's crazy. Also want to invite you guys to become members, please. What? Oh my God. Advanced documents, screens. There. I give a diddly dang. Y'all show the sun. I didn't know you could select more than one. That's pretty cool. All right, Heather's going to tell me because she's awesome. Good. All right, what I was saying. Oh my goodness, I can feel in the back of my brain. That river, Colorado, is it? Cuts right through Nebraska. Michigan's gone. The lakes are gone. A very large chunk of the east coast of the United States. Some people want to wonder what this large land mass is that is going to rise up out of the ocean. It's already beginning to rise up out of the ocean. I am sincerely hoping. Well, let me put it this way. Scientists are looking at whether this is the Atlantis or the Lemuria that dropped into the sea. So, thoughts are still being researched. But I'm crossing my doggone fingers that Disney takes over this and calls it Disney. And say, Disney has arrived. Everybody, we got roller coasters, we got games, cute outfits. Yeah, this landmass right here that is right above, I think that's the Bahamas down there. I don't know. Maybe Six Flags could take that piece or Busch Gardens. I don't know. Look, half of Maine is gone up here. Rhode Island, a chunk of Massachusetts, New Hampshire, all that stuff is gone. Yeah, it's going to affect a lot of land masses. South Carolina, huge chunk of South Carolina, and Georgia, which might run Atlanta right there on oceanfront. Who knows? But yeah, I have been tracking over here the west coast of North America because that belongs to us. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop the share so that I get this right. I'm going to hit share again. There. How you like that? Okay. All right. Let me zoom into this map for us because what you see here is what's known as the Ring of Fire. It is an oceanic plate. And those folks that have been following the channel for a very long time, I never shut up about this. But I want to say this time last year and the year before, this was like all orange, a little bit here, a little bit there. It has been getting progressively more red. And the larger the red circle is, the bigger the hit. The hits are gauged and measured differently than pretty much anything else I've ever seen because they're looking for depth, but they're also looking at impact to a crack or something. So seismologists have their ways. Hallelujah. They have their ways. So when they measure stuff, it can take them a few days to get it right because I got to talk to all their friends. NASA has stuff and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Okay. So notice here, poor Japan. Poor Japan. Where'd it go? I can't zoom in that much. Oh man, dude, I really screwed it up, didn't I? Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing. Sure, why not? Leave me alone. Go away. There we go. Okay. Before I was so rudely interrupted right there. The oceanic plate here. Oh, 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 oh. Ho, ho. You guys see this one? I don't know if y'all saw this one this week. This is terrible. This is absolutely terrible what happened in Sicily. Yeah, look at this. This happened like 3 days ago or something. Look, this is a massive. Well, they're going to play the ad because they got to get theirs, right? You can't deny they got to get theirs. So I'll let the makeup ad run while we wait. This is a tremendous landslide. It fell over 100 feet. It just in Sicily. And apparently, it is normal for them to have landslides. But this one that just happened like 3 days ago, people were still in their homes. I also want to remind you that Uranus is at the very tail end of Taurus right now. And as I tell my people, anytime a planet leaves a zodiac sign, it's going to drop something. So we also know that Neptune is moving into Aries right now. It's there. It's going to take about a week and a half, 2 weeks before we really start feeling the shift of the energy. But this right here, don't forget that Neptune is the sea. Okay, Neptune is the sea. Yeah. So you're going to have Uranus on one end, Neptune on the other. There's still that sextile going on. They're still talking to each other. And this sort of immediate action that happens here is just horrific. Why can I not go back? Why are you being like this to me? I thought we were friends. Shocking new images. The horror. It really is horror. Look at that mess. Trucks, Connexes. It's amazing. I do not know if anyone was harmed, but I would not be surprised. You know, look at that. That's a better visual. I think that's a way better visual. Tremendous landslide. Look at the cut in the earth. To me, this would be like separation, like the land is separating and opening up. And Sicily sits on the water, and the ocean could definitely come flying in. I don't think, maybe it's not on the water. My first thought when this happened was, I wonder how the Romans are feeling right now, because it's their Italy. You know what I mean? This is their land. This is their Italy. And it's just being destroyed. It's incredible. I mean, this is, yes, Europe fortifies Greenland. We know. I have other thoughts on that, but this red plate tectonic thing is real. The map from Edward Casey is, again, it was drawn by Edward Casey and about 4 other psychics over the course of 2,000 years. No, those people didn't know each other. If you are in one of these areas, I really feel with all of my heart that it is a part of my responsibility to encourage you to think twice and make the choices you're going to make. I just work here. I'm offering you the information that I know. I love you. Everyone in this room loves you. No judgment. I get it. I would just make sure because when it happens, it's going to be swift. There won't be time. There was one more thing I wanted to show you guys this week. Yeah. Terrible in Sicily, just terrible. Yellow. Let's go to the images. Maybe it would be easier. Maybe not. Okay, they had a 4.2 earthquake in Montana, a powerful 6.0. This was 15 days ago. Hits west of Idaho. Idaho sits next to the state of Washington. Okay, I want the past 7 days here. There's a Montana earthquake, 4.2. Science between the earthquake at Great Falls in Montana, there's that 4.2. Yellowstone scientists monitor Chicago size bulge along volcano's north rim. A bulge coming up out of the land mass. Oh, Uranus. Oh, Uranus at the end of Taurus. Yeah, guys. Right? The bulge. USGS says Yellowstone has risen 1 inch since July. That's not even a year. Echoing pattern before its biggest post 1980 quake. Yep. Yellowstone's slow motion rise reveals a restless world beneath Norris. Apparently, this Montana hit must have been really huge. I know also that this sounded like an explosion. Folks are hearing the earth pop and crack under the snow and the ice. And I've seen it where it goes, and it sounds like, a gunshot went off in some way, but it's under the ice and it just pops. It's incredible. So it's sort of like, how do you be careful for, like, if something like that happens? How can you protect yourself? How can you be careful? I don't know. If you start hearing cracks and it sounds really weird, you know what I mean? Walk around that area, maybe? I'm not sure.
If you felt the ground move and wondered what just happened, you weren't imagining it. A 4.2 magnitude earthquake shook Cascade County, sending a noticeable jolt through the city of Great Falls. According to the epicenter was located about 12 kilometers from the space, making the quake widely felt now.
Well, darn, yeah. I've been here for 30 years of my life.
Carry furniture, massive near seconds, but it was enough to get everyone's attention.
You could hear it before it felt it, and it got louder and louder, and then the building started shaking here. And you could actually kind of see the wall shake a little bit, and I haven't walked around the entire store, but some more bigger pictures are ajar a little bit. But that's off the wall, thankfully.
And while many grabbed their online, the camera was rolling on Cascade County Sheriff Jesse Potter.
You guys are gonna play that on the news today, aren't you? No. While interviewing the sheriff in earthquake.
Whose reaction was caught when the quake hit, showing the sudden jolt in real time.
Does.
Officials say no.
Two. Okay. For real. That poor man. Poor man. So that was in Montana, which is up here. That's way up there. The other one that I just saw was Idaho, which is down here. That's why when I'm showing you the big map, this one, if I zoom in and I get us over to North America, look at Los Angeles, 8 hours ago, a 3.3. This area right here is an area that I channeled right down here with Felicia for about 3 hours. I saw this area was the first area to go and be reported. And now the activity of this area is getting stronger and stronger. Notice the increase of the tap, and I call it tapping, but it's sort of like when you see a swarm like this, look at all the yellow. When you see a swarm sort of popping off, it starts going ta 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 to the ground. That's when notifications kind of go out for evacuations, because that's a real good sign something's about to happen. So please download your state or your county or your whatever they got. They usually have an app that you can download to your phone that'll give you notifications if you're in one of these areas that may have a lot of action. There was also somebody recently that I had to notify that San Antonio gets a lot of quakes. They didn't believe me, and they pulled it up. They were like, "Oh my God, you were right." I was like, "Yeah, hello, I'm a nerd." All right, sorry. Let me go ahead and stop the screen share there. And let's see how everything's going in the live stream. Let's give our love to our moderators, you guys. They are giving their service and their time to the Divine Collective to support us as we join together in this live stream. So Erica Wilhite, 98, organizational. That's not good. I'm glad you were able to get it checked out. Okay. I have no clue what you guys are talking about, but thank you, Erica, for being here and for being one of our YouTube members. Thank you very much. It's good to see you here. Tomorrow night is our live stream with Heather, and that's the time that we have set aside during the week to sit with our members, our YouTube members, and our patrons from Patreon. And if you have a question that you'd like us to read the tarot for or to channel for you guys, members and patrons, they get free tarot readings once a week. Just come to the live stream. It's usually around 6 o'clock at night. I want to say Heather would probably say 3, but every time we shoot for 3 o'clock, it never happens. So maybe we're on at 4, maybe we're on at 5, maybe we're on at 6, but we've been pretty consistent on Sunday evenings to sit with you guys. And you know, if you'd like to have free tarot readings once a week, become a member or a patron. Those links are down below. Okay. Thank you guys for showing up and for being here, and for everybody who's watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to say anything else. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and go over to the chart and look at scary stuff in the chart. I say scary stuff. Let's look at the scary stuff in the chart. I'm opening it real quick before I share it. Oh, wait, you know what Heather would say? Heather would say to do it on AstroSeek. Okay. I think that's good enough. February 1st, 2026. We are expecting our I don't know which side to take up. We're expecting the first solar eclipse of the year is going to happen on the 17th of February. It's, for me, I use what is her name? Cállate la boca. I can't believe this. My craziness. Give me a second. I want to show you what I use. I guess a lot of people wrote books like this. Oh, there she is. Right on. All right, let me share the screen. Get that share. Get that share. Okay, sorry that keeps popping up, y'all. Nope. Okay, This is the book that I use, which is written by Celeste Teal. She has really great instructions in her book, albeit spread out all over the place. I use this book every eclipse season. She gives us the way to measure an eclipse for intensity, is the way that she says it. I also kind of use the gauge of, I think it was in 2019-ish, the Lloyd Jones episode of Our Terrible American History, Mr. Lloyd Jones, was a 5 or a 6 in intensity. And we saw what happened. Groups of people came out of everywhere. Some of them for good, some of them for not so good, right? Shortly after that event, the Amazon warehouse had an explosion or a fire happen. Mars was involved in that eclipse. It was kind of a big deal, okay? In this eclipse that we're having on the 17th, and I keep talking about it, sorry. I'm losing my head at the same time of doing this. Practice makes perfect, right? I won't get good at it unless I practice. This particular eclipse for this eclipse season is going to be ruled by Mercury, is what Astroseek says. But when I use Celeste Teal's book to measure for intensity and who the ruler of the charts were at the time of the eclipse, I kind of got I got Venus being the ruler. That's what I got when I did the measurement. I got Venus. Astroseek says it's Mercury. So I guess we shall see Celestial over Astroseek. Because the eclipse is on the 17th, you guys, the other part of this is that being the 1st of February right now, the full moon in Leo happening, but more so that we're, 2.5 weeks out. We are well within that overlap range of the eclipse. I will bet you $10. I will bet you $10 that by the end of the week, you will have been handed the topic that you will be dealing with during the eclipse. If it is a Mercury issue, it will be attached to Mercury things. Conversations, interviews, opinions, inner thought, outer words and expressions, pictures, advertisements, movies, anything that could relay a message. You know how like Hollywood uses movies to send us messages all the time? They keep doing that. My elbow is hurting. Let me get my heating pad on my elbow for a little bit because my elbow is starting to hurt. I guess I was just talking with my hands too much. I don't know. Okay. We're well within range of the eclipse. The eclipse that I gauged it as is a 7. The intensity for me is a 7. So if the Floyd Jones episode was a 5 or a 6, this one's a 7. It'll include Mercury and probably Taurus or Venus. It might be a Libra Venus, right? It depends where Venus is, what house and sign, where Mercury is, house and sign in your chart and the connections that kind of go with it. I always get concerned with solar, Mercury, travel. Oh my God, solar. We just saw the picture of the sun, solar flash, solar flare affecting Venus, Taurus, which is not necessarily infrastructure, but Taurus would affect not, and it's not just our food. It would affect the banking system. You doggone right. It would affect the banking system. It would also affect travel in the way of, like, if something or someone is in a location, it would be short. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Oh my goodness. Neptune and Aries. It'll include travel issues. And one of the things I found with Neptune and Aries that would actually, you know, it could, I guess, it kind of goes like this. This is what I found. And for those of you, before we get to this rabbit hole, I have many books, okay? But with Neptune going into Aries, the first book that I chose to pick up to do a little bit of research is from Tracy Marks, Your Secret Self, Illuminating the Mysteries of the 12th House. This book is by Tracy Marks right there. And one of the things with Neptune and Aries was that, let's say you're having vehicle trouble, car trouble, truck trouble, transit trouble, tolls, tollways, subways, you name it, bus transits, whatever you got going on. One of the things that Neptune and Aries can or will affect is, it's really weird because it's a lot like this. If you're not feeling well with your health, with your first house, if your body is feeling yucky, if there's something up with your body, right? Stomach troubles, sprained ankle, headaches or migraines, whatever your body is doing, it's going to translate over to your vehicle. If it's an error, like error in your chart issue, it'll be an error in your vehicle issue. If it's like your inner guts, something wrong with that, you're not feeling well, your vehicle in the inner parts of some of these parts in your engine or whatever, if it has to do with your flexibility in your arms or your legs or your limbs, it's going to affect like the belts and the tubing, the wiring in your vehicle. I thought that was crazy. So it talked about maintaining your health because your outer world can get into a hot mess if you don't. Guess what my bitch ass was doing yesterday? You know what I mean? I was downstairs making like this really healthy mango, pineapple, coconut milk, spinach smoothie. I was like, okay, enough. I don't want any car troubles or truck troubles or none of that. But isn't that something? If you naturally have Aries over the 12th house or Mars in the 12th house, anything and everything that these astrology readers are going to be talking about, you're going to be like, yep, yeah, that's normal, that's normal, that's normal. And I started reading the definitions on this and I was like, damn, this is going to be something else. Again, Neptune just changed into the sign. It'll take another week and a half or 2 weeks because it's an outer planet. It's kind of out there somewhere. So it's going to take a minute. So at the same time that we're feeling the Neptune and Aries energy, that solar eclipse energy is going to be cranking up. And we ain't going to know what is what until after the eclipse energy is finished and it kind of calms down. And then we'll be like, the world has gone mad. And all right, let's go ahead and get into the chart. Because I do want to do a little bit of tarot before I get off of here. Heather has been speaking about this basket trine energy, this overlapping trine energy for quite some time. We see a little bit of it widening in the stances now that things are kind of shuffling around and everybody's getting in front of the sun. Mercury just popped out in front of Venus. And so some people may be talking about what color this person's underwear was that I saw in the store by accident, blah, blah, blah. The communication about the Venus part, I'm going to stop there. It's in my upper left. What the heck is this? Do I need to what is that? Let's look at old lady dresses. I don't want none of that. God. Looks like the Matrix, doesn't it? Ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody. Don't look over there. It looks like the Matrix. Crazy ass. Gayete. Oh, it's not going to let me leave my face on here at the same time. Fine. Fine. No, keep on top. I am the wiener. Okay, let's do it in a different color, you guys. It's got to be bright enough. Bright enough. I don't want to do red because it's not a square. And I don't think yellow is a great color. I'm getting sick of looking at the blue like that. All right, we'll just do that color. It looks like fuchsia in a sense. I'm a girl. What do you want? All right. I'm going to the left of the chart here. In Aquarius, this right there. Right? This is the area of the chart I'm at. Right there. Boop, boop. Mercury at 21 degrees, 11 minutes. Venus at 19 degrees, 23 minutes. Being in Aquarius, and that's the other part of this crazy, crazy kids, is the Aquarius energy right here. Aquarius is very well known for being detached. You guys know this. I don't have to preach to the choir. Aquarius energy also, when I studied the nodes, this is where this information kind of comes. Any kind of nodal study. If you have the North Node, South Node in Aries, Leo, you're talking about a group of people where no one is special. That was the thing about communism, right? Is that no one was special. If you had an excellent ability, you got paid the same wage as like someone who grew potatoes. They based everything on where you would shine and do best. I'll say that. But everybody was just, right? In Aquarius, you're inside of a group where none of you are special. Everybody is there for a reason. I'll tell you that. They're all there for a reason, but nobody is special. The full moon down here in the lower right is in Leo. It's at 13 degrees right now as I'm speaking. So the sun is at 13 degrees. This is a perfect match for the way that I go. Coincidence? Or is it destiny? Did the software fully predict or have me in place to begin this live stream with you talking about the chart right at the moment, the very moment that the moon is opposing the sun? And again, with my training in evolutionary astrology, I definitely look to the square points of wherever we're at. So I'm looking for 13 degrees of Scorpio, which is about right there, and 13 degrees of Taurus. That's where my brain goes first. I look to the square points to see if there's anything that needs to be integrated while the opposition is going on. There's nothing there. I'm sure that Heather could find 16,000, asteroids, but whatever. I didn't say nothing. Heather and her asteroids. Dude, she's the asteroid queen. I've never seen. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. All right. So the moon energy being in Leo, we're going to have two different things. We're going to have that sextile to 13 degrees of Leo. There's nothing there. The sextile on the other end here is close enough to be in a conjunction to Jupiter in that's a semi-sextile. My apologies. What did I do with my life? To Gemini, there's nothing there. We finish the yod, which takes us directly, of course, to the sun. There's the yod position. You see the Y. Did I do that right? Yeah, I did that right. Because you're wanting to go out on each side of the wings over here. You're wanting to go out 60 degrees one way and then 60 degrees another. And the two wings on the sides, they're good karmic return on tools that you have successfully succeeded at. I did it. Man, I was judging that guy with the article. He put seemingly together. I just did it. That's what I get for judging people. Okay. They're good karmic returns on tools that you have already earned, skills with tools. But you got to put the tool in there. There's no action going on here, so it's kind of mild. So, you know what I say, man? The sun's got to shine. If the sun has to shine, then the sun has to shine. And that's what's going on over here on the upper left. The way that I see it is that this is the heavy part to that situation. The sun, Mars, definitely Pluto, all this energy is in Aquarius. I also believe, especially with the moon and the sun being in this full moon position, like if we think about the eclipse energy, the eclipse it's just a full moon or a new moon that's amplified, you know? Man, why do I get brainiac thoughts? Squirrel. I'm still here. Just rolling my doggone chair. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. It's down here. I'm such a nerd. Sorry. I had a brainiac thought. I got to get to it. If anybody gets to my astrology notes one day, don't. I've got like, it's weird. I've got like astrology, like, and then I have journal, therapy. And then I have like a grocery list. It's like all in the same book. So don't do it. Don't touch my stuff, Heather. Just kidding. I'm looking for the research that I did for the eclipse energy because I want to see what the degree point is for the eclipse energy. Where's my stuff? Mother of all things holy. All right, let's go on a little spin. Me and you, because I ain't going to let it go. You got to know me. I ain't going to let it go. Sorry. Right, let's go to Cafe Astrology, right? Even though I really don't like their font, I'm just telling you, I don't like their font. I don't like their colors. I'm a Virgo. What do you want? Like, what do you want? New moon in eclipse. Oh. It's at 28 degrees of Aquarius. Okay. What did I drop? Dropping more things. Nope, I need that. Okay. 28 degrees of Aquarius. The Mars will be at 19 degrees. Okay. Well, if Mars is at 19 degrees on the eclipse and Jupiter is at 15 degrees of the eclipse, then it's a fair bet to say that whatever we're talking about here with Mercury, and we're talking about something Venus related, by the time of the eclipse, Mars will move up into that 19th position. Notice also here, because I'm such a nerd, because look, for those of you that don't know astrology, it's very literal. There are a lot of places in astrology where it's extremely literal. Okay. So let me move that down just a bit, just a tad. Mars and Venus both being in a very wide, this is wide conjunction, right? Because it's like, yeah, it's like 13 degrees something right there from one another. So that's pretty wide. Probably outside of the range of what a normal conjunction would be. But who's being the perfectionist now? Nobody. Smack dab right in the middle is the sun. All right. So if we were going to translate this literally, we would be saying that the sun is showing something here to us where there is a push-pull between Venus and Mars. What we have or not have on one side, and the Mars point would be what we need to do over here. So I know that's really terrible, D, and I can hear Jamie being like, what the heck is that? So we have something, it's being lit up, because don't forget that Venus and Mercury, they passed the sun first. So there was like a little chit chat. It was like a team meeting. And the sun was like, oh, you don't say, that's how it is? That's belly interesting. Then Mars will step up into that 19 position. Let me see the other chart to see where the sun is. It can be very, very literal. So the sun and the moon together will be at 28 degrees at the very tail end of Aquarius. And just like I tell everybody, what happens when a planet leaves a zodiac sign, it's going to drop something on you. So Mars will be also leaving the second decan. And the second decan is about training, teaching, relaying information, passing information, and all these bitches on what's it called? AstroSeek. They say that the eclipse energy is going to be ruled by Mercury. Well, at this point, Mercury has really, done a sprint out in front of Venus, but Mercury has passed the North Node. Notice also for the eclipse that Venus and the North Node will be like together. Venus in Pisces is the rose-colored glasses, yes, but sometimes the rose-colored glasses it's what we live for. It's what we live for. I'm sorry. Venus in Pisces shows us the love of Pisces. Pisces, and it has the forgiveness. We live for that. It has the compassion. We live for that. It has the empathy. Bitches, we live for that. It also has movies and romance and kissing and hugging. Venus in Pisces can also include, you ever met a Venus in Pisces person? I'm just going to say, I have a best friend of mine that I had when I was 12. I'm very protective of her even to this day. Her and I, we don't talk often. We follow each other's social media stuff and occasionally pop here and there and tell each other how much we love each other. But Venus in Pisces is unconditional love. It is love of life in the sense that says, if it has life, we do not harm life. If it is a living being, we treat it with tenderness, sweetness, kindness. Venus in Pisces is also where all the romantic movies are from. All the kissy face movies. I like kissy face movies. I don't care if Heather doesn't. I like them. It's what we live for. Venus, North Node, Pisces. Opposite the South Node in Virgo, which Virgo's South Node would be ruling the eclipse, right? And I'm just going to let y'all know that Virgo South Node, this whole past year that it's been there, it's been really powerful. People coming out with skills of Virgo energy that has been insane. And I'm there for it because I'm on TikTok watching all the stuff that doesn't get put on the regular news. And I'm there for the patterns. I'm there for what we've all learned health-wise with Neptune in Pisces, because bitches, we learned some shit. I'm there for it. So Venus at the North Node, man, this is the whole, everybody, all of Earth joining hands in peace. It's what we live for. Somebody out there was like, I live for Six Flags. And I'm like, bitch, I know you do. Yeah, Aquarius energy. Nobody's special. Aquarius energy also holds a lot of cold, okay? So this communication during this full moon of Leo is going to give us an expression of something that we have not seen before, or we haven't thought of before. It may have to do with the moon here in Leo. It may very well have to do with the idea of feeling special, being special, that attachment. And I bet you money it's going to show you the issue in Virgo, because that's where the South Node is. Yeah, that's where the South Node is. Yeah. We may see something in the Virgo energy that we never saw in another person. Good or bad. Doesn't matter. But the expression of this is going to be kind of like, what the F? In evolutionary astrology, Aquarius energy, Uranus energy, that's the trauma point. Notice the Uranus at the very tail end of Taurus. Very tail end, 2727. Squaring Mercury right there at 21. That's the square point, guys, right there. I know I'm drawing too much. Let me erase. So 21 Mercury right here. Boop, boop, boo. Squaring. Mercury is going into the square. with Uranus. And I just showed you pictures, Mercury, of earthquakes, Taurus, the land, geography. That's why I've been telling everybody, dude, Mars over here is going into freaking, and Mars just passed Pluto. And I'm telling you, Mars is the lower octave of Pluto. Pluto wants something, right? Mars goes, check. Pluto says, jump. Mars says, how high? They had a little powwow over there. Like, what happened in that meeting? I need to know. So that's why I'm saying maybe, perhaps, this Mercury Venus part is showing something of a weakness because of the square point to Uranus, the ruler, of Aquarius. There might be a weakness that is attached that might be affecting the group. We didn't see it before. We didn't know it before. Right? And then there's going to be something special that happens at the lunar eclipse. Yeah. I know I'm talking about Aquarius energy, and I think it's because tomorrow evening when Heather and I go live, don't forget to turn your notifications on. If you are a patron member on our Patreon channel or a member on our YouTube channel, once a week you guys get free tarot reads out of us because you got us by the cojones, my friends. That's the thing. We set the contract, right? And then all y'all keep showing up. Y'all keep showing up. So you just squeeze the cojones. So once a week, Heather and I sit down and we hang out with you guys, and we do tarot card readings for the members and the patrons. So I think my system is talking about Aquarius, the new moon energy, the square to the ruler, Uranus. I think we're talking about a weakness that, 2 weeks and a couple of days from now, 10, 11, so that's 7, 14, 15, 16, 17 days. 17 days. Duh, Miriam, it's the freaking first. I can't do math. I cannot do the math. I think the Neptune and Aries piece will be done with Heather tomorrow. I think so. Because we still got Saturn. Oh my God, bless us. God bless us, everyone. Saturn, man, at 28 degrees, 44 minutes. Every time a planet leaves a sign, it's going to drop something on you. Saturn is different. I mean, they're all different from each other, but Saturn is the person that squeezes the cojones to see how much you can take. Saturn is measuring how much you can take. Please understand that concrete will win every single time. However, concrete has a time period before it is firm. You pour the concrete, you can move it, mold it, shape it at the beginning of anything, right? But at some point, the concrete is going to win. At the polarity point, though, of Capricorn Saturn energy is the moon. Right? And at some point, the pillow will win. And that's how oppositions work in astrology. So when you're looking at Saturn gripping you by the cojones, and you would feel it right now. That's why some of you are like blowing up my feeds, or you're blowing up my emails or whatever. This is a primary issue that Saturn is saying either A, the ground has cracked beneath your feet, B, you thought you were stable and secure in your identity, in your role, in your leadership, in your position. You might have had a huge insecurity. Maybe you felt you weren't enough. Maybe you felt you didn't have enough knowledge. Maybe you felt you weren't a good public speaker. Maybe you felt that your resume was never going to hit something like that. You were standing on a very huge Sicilian size crack. It's probably being shown right here as a weakness. Probably in our fields, right? This full moon is showing it off because why not? God bless us all. The question is, does Saturn trust us enough to get her done? Saturn has discipline behind it. It has consistency behind it. You may have thought you were a great president of something. Come to find out, you were shite. It hurts. But the thing about Aquarius energy is it's not about you. Sorry. In Aquarius energy, nobody is special. You ain't special. You're just part of the group, which makes you special. We're all not, nobody here in Aquarius is on a ladder. We are all at the same level. Aquarius rules humanitarian ideas, and I mean, it's not even an idea. It's the implementation of that idea that none of us eat differently than the other. If we're all together, we're all eating barbecue and nobody gets left out. If we're all together and having some weirdo revolution in, 1810 with Napoleon, we all get a gun. We all get the same uniform. You see what I mean? Nobody is special. We are all one. We come together for the same purpose, idea, the same work. How do you think communism works? I know it's kind of crazy, but it is true. We exist. Notice as we go around the wheel, and I hate to start preaching at you, but hey, that's what you squeeze my cojones for. Aries, 1. Aries is the I am. And yeah, you really are, because apparently, the what's it called? Consciousness has settled upon your head. So yeah, you're the I am. So am I. I am. We exist doesn't happen at all until you get all the way around to Scorpio. And it's a different kind of we every step you take from there. The Scorpio is, we doing this? It could be that. It could be Scorpio coming in and going, we're doing this. Could be. This is a different kind of we, right? Scorpio is the joined. Let's just say that both parties will be open and vulnerable with a total, you could, I mean, even on the movies, when they're wearing full armor, even Achilles had a chink in the chain. And when you step into Scorpio energy, both of you guys can see that hole in the armor. You're aware it exists. Both of you have one. Both of you can see it. Both of you could take the other out. That's why it's dangerous. Scorpio is danger. That's why it's taboo, because we want to cover that up. Like, cover that up. Don't. And either your party knows that that's a no-no area. You don't go near that. You don't even talk about it. It's like Fight Club. We don't talk about that. This is Fight Club, man. Fight Club is here. Dangerous. Yeah. You could hurt me. I could hurt you. That's why life and death sits here in Scorpio. It's only life or death. Taxes, right? You see the inner parts of my spending. We step into the we moment here, over there in Sagittarius. We believe, right? We believe this. I don't think I need to go far in that. Here in Capricorn, it's what? We work together on this. True? Of course, true. We get to Aquarius, and what's it say? We are equal to one another. There is no ladder back here with Virgo. No, Aquarius energy don't like that stuff. And as soon as somebody starts putting the other person on a ladder, and Aquarius is going to get real loud. They're going to be like, oh, okay, you think you're special in that way or that way? F you. And here comes that Aquarian rebellious thing they love to do because they're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. If there was something that was shown to you in Leo that was off the charts, hypocritical, racist, sexist, a misogyny thing, if it was revealed and shown to you and now you're sitting over here in Aquarius energy like, oh, damn. There is no ladder. We are equal in Aquarius. Don't get all special. You don't get special till you get over here to Leo. No. Over here, we're all swinging a sledgehammer together. We're in a lime pit. We're in a mine. Everybody got a hard hat on and an ice pick. You see what I mean? So if there was something even with this, the opposition point that was hard to hear, you know, karmically, this thing has been there, would be there, et cetera, et cetera. I made my point. I won't belliger the point. Just know that Saturn's over here and has been keeping track this whole time. And either Saturn is going to come at you, expose the little chink in the chain and be like, what the hell's wrong with you? You're fired. Oh, you just said that? You're fired. You're fired. Right? Some fathers, this dad father thing, there are some fathers that are feeling it in the gut right now. They're feeling it. They're hurting real bad. I spoke to my ancestral line this morning for about an hour. I had a talk with the grandfathers, but not in a way where I hadn't already worked stuff out with them. I did. So my speaking with them, I set my grandfathers into place. I called them from the divine collective, from the ethers. I said, get on. You're going here, you're going there, you're going there. So yeah, Saturn, when you're good and you're a happy, good person that did the discipline, put in the work, set the foundations for your, not just your calling and your purpose, for those karmic things that needed to be released. What do we get? A big old star on your paper. 100%. But guess what happens after the 100%? What always happened? These bitches, they're like, good job. And they pat you on the back, right? And then they go, we're going to give you more work. We're going to put you in another grade. You're going to go from the first grade to the second grade, where we're going to give you more work. But you're also going to build on the foundations, because that's what Capricorn energy does. It builds on top of the foundations that were set into place. If that foundational thing of the thing you're having an a-hole time right now with, and you would know, if that foundation is strong, what do they say? Híjole. Híjole. That thing is strong. You did your job well. Capricorn's going to upgrade you and let's put another layer on it. Let's put another layer on it. Let's put another one. We want that structure just like the Japanese do. We want it to go, 25 stories up and 62 stories down. Let's just keep building, builder, set it in place. Why? Because Saturn energy is a complete I don't want to say it, man, because we're on YouTube. Let's just say that everything that Saturn does, Daddy does, is to please Mama. Everything. Why? Because Cancer is the opposite of the 10th house, Capricorn. So Daddy is over here going, what's Mom want? Oh, Mom wants chocolate ice cream. I'm on it. Right? Mom wants sprinkles on her cookies. I'm on it. Woo! Saturn puts the building thing. Mama says she's going to make cookies, so I need to run to the store for Mama. That's what Saturn does. Mama says she going to vacuum the house, so I'm going to give her the best tool that she needs. And while she's making cookies, how about I go ahead and just vacuum the house? Saturn and the moon, Capricorn and the 4th house. What is the square point to all of that hot mess? Oh, I don't know. Libra, which is the connection line, and Aries, the desire, we must prepare for the Aries moments, have things in place, right? We must allow this person's individuality to be honored, not because they're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? Like Billy Joe down the street, standing on top of his truck while somebody else is driving it and he's reaching for the limbs of the trees. That's not why we love Joey. Billy Joe, he's up on a truck. That crazy guy. We love Billy Joe because Billy Joel has life. So guess what? Billy Joel comes over to supper. He eats the same supper that we do. We are equal. Saturn must also keep intact the connections of the leadership, the connections of the father, the connections of the foundations. I promise you this. Capricorn energy is doing inspections all down the building. Capricorn's checking for the fire extinguisher. Capricorn's checking for the toilet plunger. Capricorn's checking for the inventory. Capricorn's making sure that all the kids are doing their chores. Capricorn's in there loving on the pup, giving the dog all sorts of love, and the cats, giving the cats all sorts of kisses. Capricorn is the responsible one, the leader. Yes, they're the supervisor, but have you ever had a great supervisor? I have. I remember my first really wonderful supervisor was a major in the Army, Major Kaiser. Major Kaiser, he was kind of a quiet sort of man. He had 5 kids. And when Major Kaiser would show up for the runs in the morning, just random, our platoon would be going for a run, 4 miles, 6 miles, 8 miles, it didn't matter. But when Major Kaiser showed up, he never ran in front of the platoon, even though you're supposed to. There were times he did. Maybe he would go back and forth, but my memory has Major Kaiser in the back of the platoon. Maybe the sergeant was up front and he was just in the back. Major Kaiser, he would go hang out. That's what I love studying about. All right. Napoleon wasn't the greatest guy. He was kind of an a-hole, but his leadership style from the moment he left officer school, he would go down to where the artillery and the cannons were. Those were his people, man. So Napoleon was boom he wasn't up on a horse way over on the side of a battle. Dude was down there with soot all over himself, pulling on the cannon with his men. George Washington was the same. Julius Caesar was the same. Leaders walk amongst their people. And that's what Capricorn is supposed to be, that kind of leader, that kind of officer. Must walk amongst his people to see how they're doing, to know their individual Aries name. All of it for Mama, all of it for home. Cancer rules nation, all of it for our nation. That's what Capricorn does. So whatever Capricorn role that you have in this life, there will be a house and a sign. This is where you must become the best officer you can be. This is where you must become the best authority that you can be. This is the place. You must look to the house and the sign. And you know what? Saturn's going to leave Neptune. It's going to head into Aries. And guess what the new challenge will be? You will have a lot of those flashpoint moments. Flashpoint, Aries, flashpoint, it's yang, comes at you. Might be a solar flash, might be, exhaust from a vehicle, right? What's the best leader you can be in the house and sign that you have? Be that person. I'll be that person. You take over. You take charge. You look at your connections. You look at the Aries individuals. Are we equal? Are we really equal, though? Is there equality here? Because we don't get to the humane part until the leadership is tended to and taken care of. But a true leader is going to use the semi-sextile that they got on both sides, but also the sextile, their power and their compassion. I think I need to shut up and go to the cards now. Because don't forget tomorrow night, I know I keep saying it. I keep saying it because it's really going to happen. Heather and I will be together tomorrow night live again to see y'all. See what kind people we have. What kind people. Don't stare at the sun. That's good counsel. Thank you. Appreciate that. Walk amongst your people. See what they need. Gather together strength and encouragement. There's only two things a leader needs to do. One is to keep everybody's eyes on the vision. Whatever you're joined together to do to become a working unit, you must keep everybody's eyes on the ball. You're the coach. Everybody, keep your eye on the ball and where the ball is headed next. Wherever the goal, Sagittarius came first, right? We're pointing that 45-degree angle of an arrow. Capricorn says, point it over there, and that's where we're headed. A leader keeps everybody's eyes on the ball. That's the first thing. The second thing is inspiration. A leader doesn't have to know how to run this stupid software. A leader just needs to know how to inspire their people. You don't burn bridges. You build bridges. George Washington, he was in the middle, stopping the fight, going, hey, guys, come on, shake and make up. Right? Napoleon, we work and we're a working unit. That's what a leader does. Keep your eye on the ball. What's the reason? And if it's relationships, that is the reason. As the leader, you better be damn good at Libra energy. You got Saturn in the 7th? You better know John Gottman. John, Gottman. John Gottman and his wife. You better know that in detail. You got Saturn in the 7th, Saturn in Libra. You better know that man's work and his research for 45, 47 years now on relationships. That better be your playbook. Get to work. Look at me telling everybody, get to work. Hi, Amy. I'm glad you're back. She keeps saying tomorrow night. What? What am I saying wrong? Oh, it's going to be tonight. I'm going to shut up now. I'm a wiener. All right, let me lay some cards, you guys. And we'll do a collective reading for the week. I don't know how to rightly say that. If I sit down with y'all, give a collective reading every morning, I wouldn't be saying a collective reading for the week, would I? Can we all get along? Can we all get along? All right, somebody's going to have to tell me if they liked the first portion of this 2.5 hour stream. I set it for 3 hours because I love you guys. I wanted to keep it more in a podcast sort of format. Let's go to the cards. Y'all going to have to let me know if you like this or not. I am busy, been gardening, blanching vegetables. I wish I were there. I'm a good worker. Ask Heather. I'm a real good worker. All right. February 1st, 2026. What does the collective need to know, please, for February 1st, 2026? February 1st, 2026. What does the collective need to know? Y'all send me your energy. Just send me some energy. Doesn't matter what chakra. Just send me the energy as a collective, as a unit, as a whole. Show me the energy, please, for February 2026. Show me what's going on. 2026. Show me February 2026, please, for the collective. Oh, look at that. All right. Devil in the reverse. There's Saturn. Then the moon card. There's the mama. Full card in the reverse. Ooh, these are a lot of major arcanas right off the bat, y'all. 10 of Cups in the reverse. 6 of Swords in the reverse. It's like nobody likes this. Nobody likes what was shown. Woo, come on now. The Wheel of Fortune in the upright. 3 of Wands. Okay. Huh. Pisces energy. Scorpio energy. 2 of Cups is the outcome right there. 2 of Cups. The Judgment card in the upright. The 9 of Wands in the upright. The Queen of Wands in the upright. The King of Wands in the upright. The Ace of Wands in the upright. I'm going to take this one because my fingers feel like it. 3 of Swords in the upright is part of the challenge. On the underside of the deck is the 4 of Pentacles in the upright. When I teach the tarot class, which I am posting over on Patreon right now, 1 hour at a time, you can purchase the videos there if you want my tarot classes, or you can become a Patreon member at the highest level, the YouTube membership at the highest level, and you'll get all of it for free. I say free, but you guys, when I teach the tarot class, Amy knows, the 4 of Pentacles goes along with the Emperor card. It's one of the 4s that goes with the Emperor card. You can see in the card that, see the covering, it's like bear fur, but it's the same covering that's on the Emperor card. It's just at the 4 of Pentacles, he has not earned the emblem on the shoulder of the Emperor, okay? The 4 of Pentacles is knowing how to do something. It's a foundational thing, yes, but it's also something that requires maintenance where you must, it's not like a trophy. You know, the Chariot card, this guy goes after a trophy. With the 4 of Pentacles, this dude, like, I want to make sure you can see me. This dude returns to it as a maintenance, continually returns to it as a maintenance. Over time, the Four of Pentacles person becomes somewhat of a stabilizer, you know, and it's a pentacle issue. So this is something in the physical. I'm hearing that it could have to do with someone's schedule, putting a schedule in place, feeling that if I only had this in place, then this and this and this would happen. So the person, the Two of Wands that is on the underside right there in the upright, it could be a contract. Look at the Ace of Wands in the upright next to that. The Seven of Pentacles in the reverse right there. And then, of course, so strange because the Temperance card has been in the upright all week. And now the Temperance card is in the reverse with the Queen of Swords in the reverse. So we have some sort of negative news that we're waiting. It's sort of like seeing the reality that we must put a contract into place. We must do the action to perhaps purchase a vehicle. We don't want to do that. But I'm hearing also the stability of a schedule. That's why the Four of Pentacles, where did it go? That's why the Four of Pentacles here is a maintenance thing. Let's say you purchase a vehicle. This would be like the insurance. This would be like the payment, right? The payment of something, it's put into a schedule. You sign the contract on the front end. There's something maintenance required here. It must be put into the program of your life. Someone's nervous about this new beginning. You know, they're coming at it with a sense of naivety. And it's sort of like they don't want to be tricked. They don't want to be tricked. There's reaching out to this Two of Cups person. And it's explaining a situation that could bring joy, could bring happiness. With the Wheel of Fortune here in the upright, the Devil card in the reverse, it's sort of like, I don't have any more excuses. I have to make this conversation happen. Six of Swords in the upright. I have to do the research. I have to make the connection. I have to talk with someone else. And we need to move this situation out of where it's been with the Moon card in the upright. I'm also kind of seeing with the Moon card and the Four of Pentacles in the upright that perhaps it's a Moon card issue that is done on the regular. The Moon card in the upright shows us something that is in the dark. It's nighttime, okay? It's something that's done usually in the dark. It's usually hidden. The Moon card, you know, if you think about your home and your house, in your home, in your house, this is the place where you get undressed. It's the place where you become vulnerable. Heather, can you come get Iris, please? She's thirsty. She's thirsty. I'm sorry, babies. I'm sorry. Iris, Heather's coming. Heather's coming. I'm sorry. She got mud on her. She ran like 3 times today. She ran. Good girl. When you're at home and you're in your home, this is the place you take a shower or you bathe. You do your hygiene. At home, this is the place that you sprawl all over the couch, on your bed, sprawling. You go to sleep, which is the most vulnerable you could be. That's why the Moon card has things that are hidden. That's why the 4th house and Cancer energy, that's why something is hidden, out of view, out of sight.
Come on, baby. Come on, let's go.
Thank you. And that's part of the challenge. Something of this crustacean thing comes crawling up out of the water. Remember, water represents emotions. It's something that exposes itself on a schedule. It's crazy because I can hear the wolf howl on that card for some reason. This person's right hand is reaching for the wolf on the card to try to fix it, to try to correct it. So again, it gives us that Aries energy, and Chiron is actually in Aries. So it shows something of a natural thing that needs to be corrected. I'm hearing that someone could get a haircut. Nobody cares about this stuff. It's just a haircut. In several different cards, I'm seeing the sun peeking around the corner of the mountains, the sun coming up through the pillars. It's almost like the sun is on the horizon. I just need you to breathe for just a little bit more. The sun is right there on the horizon. The cards do show that there's been a period of like sitting still. Reserving one's actions. That's what it would be like. Reserving one's actions before having a conversation, maybe a period of isolation and waiting. Yeah, look, the four swords popped up. Before having a conversation, part of the problem has been sitting still. This person doesn't really know what to do about such a hard and difficult situation. While they've been in a waiting position, they're probably a little puckered. Probably puckered. Sitting. It's taken a lot of spiritual strength to reserve action. I have the Queen of Wands, could be a fire sign, standing in a position where they're waiting for the go. As soon as you tell me yes, I'm gone. As soon as you let me out of work, I'm out of here. The King of Wands is looking at the Queen and sort of saying, are you sure that we're going to do this with someone who is experienced? They need to have experience. A Page of Cups came out. This is what's best for all. Oh, and then the World card comes out. We need to end the situation. We need to not just move it forward, but move it forward with intention, where the Queen of Wands is in charge of something. And then the Knight of Cups in the reverse comes out. I heard that. It's sort of like the longer that one waits, the more sloppy they get. There's someone here who's sloppy. Maybe they're not as good at their job. Maybe they don't have the right resources. Maybe they need help, but there's someone here who's a bit sloppy with something. It gives a laziness sort of energy and a dislike for what needs to happen. For some of you, this could also be the law that is stepping in. I have a Taurus, a Sagittarius, a Capricorn, Scorpio, Gemini, Virgo, Leo. Someone could have gotten into the paperwork and they could have found the instructions on how something needed to go, but they're holding on, or they have been holding on. Something of a process that was supposed to be regularly checked, regularly done. It was not done that way, unfortunately. A mismanagement of funds or a mismanagement of getting everything to work together. It's caused sadness here. And there's a few relational issues with relationships. I also kind of sense that some of the networking that you've had before, especially with the transition of Neptune leaving Pisces, a lot of us have been in those situations where we're living in a different place. We're not with the same people that we used to be with. We're, you know, on the other side of the world because we just got orders for something. But I can see that relationships were key, but some of the people that used to be here are no longer here. Some of the folks that we used to rely on are no longer reliable. There's that part. Is this still going on? I'm like, are we still? All right. Oh, some of you definitely kind of created a barrier and cut someone off. That's crazy. All right. I have a person who is holding on to, it's kind of like rebellious information in their head. They didn't want to do it. They stopped doing it. They just dropped it like it didn't matter. Something like that. And there's been an anticipation, right, for this promise to be kept. This right here, this is a promise, it's a contract, it's something. And this person has been sitting with some sort of incomplete message or news, and they're waiting for that. And the longer that they wait, the more nervous they've gotten. There's also been a separation here on top of it where, you know, something here, I don't know if a financial opportunity was lost, money was not given, money was not paid. I'll add that one. Someone didn't get the payment, they didn't get the money, or they didn't get the whatever that is. No effort, no time was put into it. There's going to be a message about that effort or time that was not put into it. And I have someone on the outskirts here that has been waiting for this action to happen. They get more nervous as more emotional as it's not getting put into place, right? Like child visitation is the first thing that comes to mind. The second thing is like content. I haven't seen content from this person in a while. You know, I haven't had contact, and all of a sudden this person shows up. There's the Hierophant pointing to some sort of foolishness here. And if it's a Taurus, then the Taurus really gets kind of pissy. That's the way that I would say it. You know, there's a conversation with another person that says, well, maybe you should go over there and offer something. Maybe you should go over there. See, it's coming from the divine feminine. Maybe you should go over there and figure out what this person's emotions were. Maybe ask for forgiveness here. That a judgment was made incorrectly because somebody, I mean, it's sort of like, well, you never visited or you never called. Why should I go over there and do that? And this person is sort of like, well, the responsibility was either taken away from somebody, or they were pushed out of a group, or life moved this person forward and they didn't make time. They never made the phone call. They never reached out. They lied about not having a contact. This would be like, I never got the email. I never got the gift. I never got the letter. Right? But over here, it sort of shows that it probably wasn't their fault. Because, yeah, that fell on the Hierophant. Well, you know, why are you so upset? Things were not working the way they were supposed to work. The person who was holding the responsibility just dropped it and threw it away like it was trash. This person didn't do right here. They were angry, they were mad, they were whatever. So they just dropped it like it was nothing. Their emotions were attached to it. It wasn't fair. The responsibility was being held by someone else. You can't get mad at them, you know? If the contract wasn't fulfilled, if something wasn't right, how could you get mad at them for that? A certain amount of time has kind of expired here. And this King of Swords in the reverse is pointing at how, I mean, it's sort of weird how you can't see that, but you see the Lovers card and you see the King of Swords is pointing out the sun and how the entire thing was just dropped. Like they dropped it like it was nothing. So this person has been waiting. And there's a new sheriff in town. It's kind of a conversation that sort of says you have to do what this other person could not do on their own. This person who just chose to treat it like it was nothing. Maybe this is what I would say. These are the situations I would say. Someone might get subpoenaed to court and they're not showing up. They're just treating it like it's nothing. No, I didn't get the email, right? This could definitely be a struggle between two people and a job, because what I kind of sense is that there's someone who fails tests, so they can't do the work, they can't do the job. That's one. Someone who doesn't have the certification, someone who doesn't take that sort of thing seriously. This also has to do with, okay, let's say that you have a friend and this friend got you a job. And then you got another job offer over there. And it's better. And you're working out how to connect with this other job over there. But you're leaving the friend blind. And they're calling you like, hey, I told you, man, I got you this job. Don't you want it? And over here, the dude's like, I just won't answer. I won't pick up the phone because this job over here looks more appealing to me. So there's like a disconnect between two friends. Also kind of picking up that if this is a spousal situation, there are two people who are hiding things in a marriage or a very strong relationship. It's a strong relationship. They're hiding things from one another. Private things. They both have this independent concept to them. They're not sharing what the other person is doing. The other person is not sharing what the other one is doing. They've lived in some sort of compatibility of, it's not interdependent, it's independent lives. And they just don't share the news of their lives. They're shallow. It's very shallow. How was your day? How was your day? You know, it's just like a very shallow thing. It doesn't have depth to it at all. There's a party that you'll see what I mean, man. There's a party that's either coming up, you know, like y'all get invited to someone else's house for dinner or something. Y'all get invited to a family dinner of some kind. Someone's going to say something at the dinner. If you're all in the restaurant sitting at the same table, you know how people do, they gather. This person brings their spouse. It could have been like at a Christmas dinner. You know how they do holiday dinners and stuff? Someone's going to bring their spouse. And while they are sitting at the table, the other partner's going to pick up on a flirt, like a little flirty energy, or someone is just it feels like a family member, like it's a female person, a sister, a mother. They're going to blurt it out at the table in front of everyone. And whatever this little hidden secret thing is going to be shown to the entire group. And they're all going to stand there and be like, oh. Because it kind of shows, it's going to expose a private thing. It's not that it brings shame. It has that CUCK energy to it, where it makes someone look very weak and run over. So it does have humiliation attached to it for both parties. For both parties. It's unfortunate. Because what it kind of gives me is the energy that shows that these two people do not belong together. These two people don't need to be together. The relationship has run its course. It's run its course. And for some reason, this will not go into full effect until there is a group. There must be a group present before this humiliation can be exposed. Someone's like, yeah, look, there's the party. There's the piece of information, right? That, look, Seven of Swords. It's a happiness that someone usually gets in some way. And they're going to be really upset that it shows this independent something. I'm hearing that it's a marriage or a relationship where someone's going to find out that the other partner has a lot more money stashed away. If money has been one of the competitive things in the relationship between you and this other person, yeah, if your household or your kids or something like this, someone is going to find out a large amount of money that was present. It's going to be embarrassing because everybody else didn't know about it. What? It's going to be like that. You had how much in a shoebox under the bed? It's going to be like that. Yeah. It does have the aspect of gossip. For some of you, this is some people having the information, more than one person holding the, it's like leaning into that. Yeah, that's probably what happened, but not actually knowing the truth. So when everybody's in the group and this piece of information gets a spotlight put on it, it's going to be like, whoa. For some of you, this has to do with actions that were taken during perhaps one of the war eras. The things we do in war. For some of you, this piece of information has created a war within your family. I'm seeing dominant siblings who gleefully take their sibling by the nose, like their little piglet, and just drag them around wherever they want them to go. Very controlling. Dominant siblings who refused to let their little quote unquote slave go. The repetition of that energy, the inequality of that energy between siblings is fixing to get dealt with. Neptune and Aries is what they showed me. That part's fixing to get dealt with, y'all. Equality with siblings. Even if you are 65 years old, They don't give a diddly dang. It's coming. You're going to see in the next 2 to 3 months, 4 months, it'll be from this eclipse to the next eclipse to the next eclipse. It's going to get stronger throughout the year. You are absolutely correct. Guilt has not worked. How dare they? That's what I'm hearing. How dare they? It's a slap in the face. It's a, they're showing me a shoe that trips another person. It has that CUCK thing to it. You make me look disgusted, disgusting. How could people be so mean? How could people be so cruel? Cruelty usually starts in the family. Usually. The books will be rewritten. History will be rewritten. On a grand scale, they're showing a macro to a micro. The books are about to get rewritten. The whole narrative is about to get rewritten. Y'all don't even know. That's what they said. Y'all don't even know. How many times the cycle of trying to rid all of humanity from this discombobulated way of trying to balance equality, that we're not on either side from one another. There is no ladder when it comes to living. Heather and I were talking about this yesterday, but they're telling me now, those that did not have an inner core. It's almost like those of us that were brought in with the light. We weren't part of that now. Those that were not brought into the light, they're the ones that are going to have the majority of the issues. Steer clear, stay in your lane. This part has to be done. It is a flipping of the script, but for most of us, it'll be gentle. And we've run our race. I don't even want to know. 2-on-2 on the clock. Being the bridge between people. A lot of you have done. Because they're showing me the bridges of financial care. They're showing me the bridges of caretaking. Because they're showing me Jamie and an elderly person. There's a bridge of care. They're showing me the extension of teaching, like a mother to a toddler. They're showing these extensions of service, I don't know why they're showing me an aquarium, but knock yourself out. Sure, why not? A Scorpio is going to be important in the next 2 or 3 weeks. You guys want to keep your eyes on the Scorpio people because y'all don't even know. Holy, holy, holy. Yeah, that's what they're showing me with Pluto and Aquarius. They're showing me that out of all of us, because Pluto is in Aquarius, Scorpios have the ball. Scorpios will have the bat. Scorpios will have the string. Scorpios, power. People in power positions from the macro to the micro. Power. Those who have been assigned and given power in their determined areas. But Scorpio, more than anything, they're about to have all the power. To do, to have, to be. Their ethical stance in the area of where they're at. The ones that have the light. Y'all fixing to have a good time now because someone has to judge. Someone has to be the judge. They're showing me old Western judges. You just have a bunch of Hulus out there and one judge sitting at a desk that for some reason everybody said this person's the law. They're the law. Scorpios are going to be in that spot. It's going to feel, they're showing me Rockefeller. I'll be your huckleberry. Those Scorpios that do not have the light, it's going to be very, because it's sort of strange. They're showing me an arm that's reaching out and just wiping everything off of a shelf. No power. That's what they're saying. So you'll be able to determine when you go to your jobs and you see who is making the new choice and coming in with their hand like the drill sergeant. Scorpio with the light. The ones that are kicking the can down the road, Scorpio without the light. The tables are upside down. It'll be like that from now on. But watch the Scorpios. Make a friend. Be a friend. All right, I'm going to stop the stream right there, you guys. That's right at 3 hours. Thank you very much for joining me. Hello. We'll be going live in a little bit, I guess. That was a pretty long live stream. Always a pleasure. I'll see y'all later. And be nice. No biting. I love you.